Hello everyone, good day. I hope this video finds you well. Welcome to Mind Juice. This will be the channel's first installment into what I hope to be many more. Now, I hope you bear with me. This is my first attempt at video editing and putting a video out. However, I have been following true crime for years and years. Spent time in my bachelor's studying the topic as well as both of my graduate programs. A little bit about me. I've been following the true crime YouTube explosion over the last how many years. Particularly was sucked in by the Delphi following. Very interesting. Followed a lot of creators. A lot that I like and respect, and those I learned to draw the line. To make things clear, I don't like to go down rabbit holes, pursue a bunch of speculation and the what if this happened, then that, then this. I like to stick to facts, so I'll be trying my hardest to stay that way. Any negativity that comes in the comments, please. This channel is for people willing to explore alternative perspectives, look at things in a different light, bouncing off of other creators and working together to hopefully come to a resolution or find and add things up that maybe haven't been put together yet. So all positivity and good vibes this way. Shout out to my inspiration. There's a lot of them. Apologize I can't list them all here. True Crime Rocket Science. Love your work, man. You do a great job of presenting questions and very intriguing perspectives. Love your work. Grizzly True Crime. Kenneth Main's Unsolved No More. Gray Hughes Investigates. Crime Circus. There's a lot that I can't name here, and for those I apologize. But thank you for all of your guys' work. It has really inspired me. But to get things kicked off here, the focus of this video is going to be the Idaho murders that took place on November 13th, which I am sure you are all very familiar with by now. I don't want to rehash or repeat a bunch of things that have already been plastered out there, but there is a few key facets or aspects that I'd like to raise, and I just asked you to consider. I'm going to try not to pinpoint who I think did it or this has to be the person. I just want to share some thoughts which I believe may be able to add some understanding to the situation, at least from my part of the world anyways. Okay. Two major, I think, tells that are given in this case are given by Kaylee herself. Yes, they have been mentioned indirectly, but kind of glossed over. And I'm referring to the phone calls that she had made later in the evening. Now, before you jump to conclusions and assume you think you know where I'm going, please give me a second to explain myself, okay? I am not in the business of pointing fingers, and I would hate to cast any more shadow upon someone's life that doesn't deserve it. I do have experience in the legal arena professionally, so I do respect the integrity of the case as well as the rights of everybody involved. Okay, and that includes innocent until proven guilty. I sincerely believe that. With that said, Kaylee's sister came out shortly after all the news had broke, and she had revealed that she discovered 6 phone calls from her sister's phone between 2:26 a.m. and 2:52 a.m. made to JD, or I guess we can refer to as ex-boyfriend, whatever that may be. Now, again, I'm not pointing fingers directly at this individual per se, but I ask you, consider things from the perspective of Kaylee, okay? We've all been in relationships, myself included, very serious through college, knowing all the other temptations and moving on. Life sends us up different paths, okay? I know Kaylee's sister did mention that it was a normality of Kaylee to call somebody continuously until they pick up. It's nothing out of the ordinary for her. She typically does this, even if it's for what she's eating, I think her sister referred to. Things that aren't that big of a deal. So that is not of character. In contrast to somebody who never does that, it might be alarming. Like, they might need help, or, she's calling me 6 times. Holy cow, she never does that. No, that isn't the case here. On its face, numerous calls from Kaylee to whoever to discuss whatever's on her mind is a normal thing. Okay, that's important to outline here. If we can compartmentalize that for a second, I think the biggest problem with this case is everybody is running with the videos available online. They think that all the clues are there, that it must be in some video, or the perpetrator must have done an interview here or there, and if I put my due diligence in, I'll find it. I'll catch what this person said, or I'll see that picture in a way that nobody else does. The fact is, people, as you've seen in the Delphi case, you can have all the suspects and have all the pieces align any way that you want them to, but in reality, the facts and the direction of the truth may not even be visible on this platform. Okay, that's only for the investigators and the detectives on the scene. They have a job to protect the integrity of the case, not to reveal everything. So although we believe we know everything and we have all this stuff and it's just a matter of time, we don't hardly have anything. I can't recall who said it, but there's a famous detective who said the public only has 5 to 10% of the actual facts. Okay, and I believe that to be true. Now, precisely that percentage, I don't know. Maybe we have 30%. Who knows? But the point being, we think we know a lot, and we really don't have a clue as far as the true scope of the investigation. Okay, so if you look at that house and the facts that we know, I think there is, 6 girls? Okay, a 6-bedroom, 3-story house. By default, anyone on any given night would be able to say there's 6 girls, there's 6 bedrooms. Okay, but as we know, Kaylee had graduated, moved on. She's in the process of going backpacking for a month through Europe before she starts her job in, I believe, Dallas. Would have, having graduated a couple weeks after her unfortunate passing. So she had just purchased a new vehicle, Kaylee Calvis, that is, and was excited about it, from my understanding. So she decided to make a return trip to Utah and show Maddie, her best childhood friend. They grew up together, pretty much attached at the hip, it seems. Sisters. So typically, Kaylee had a bedroom on the top floor, one of the 2 bedrooms, along with Maddie. However, given that she had moved on and was only back visiting, her room, as I understand it, was left unoccupied. So this night, the variables change to where the two girls on the top floor aren't in each of their bedrooms, it would be understood that it was known that Kaylee was going to be sharing a bed with the Maddie. I think a typical girl thing to do, okay? And then we can get to the dog later. But the variables of the crime. From the perspective of the phone calls, if you follow me there. Yeah, let's go back to that. She attempts to call Jack 6 times. And pardon me for going all over the place. This is my first time. Okay. She attempts to call Jack 6 times. Now, if I can ask you to get from her mindset, she subtly mentions, come on, we have a dog together. And pardon me if those aren't the exact words, but it's something along that line. Okay? Now, by itself, does that really mean much? One can say not really. However, when she says that to me, that's my first indication that for some reason she believes that Jack may be upset with her or may in some way not be happy with her. Now, what do I mean by that? She's attempting to call him 6 times and then nonchalantly says, come on, we have a dog together. Now, as innocent as it may sound, from her perspective, when she decides to say that, her rationale behind saying those words, expressing those words, she is beginning to believe that after the 4th, 5th, 6th time of him not answering, the reasoning behind that, okay? And she suggests, come on, we own a dog. Almost as if she's trying to indirectly apologize to some extent. Now, completely no, but I think her statement of that shows a little bit of guilt. And her attempt, now of what? Who knows? I don't know. But guilt to the extent to where she believes that Jack may not be happy with her, let's say. Could it be that she was coming to town and she didn't tell him, or she didn't text him back, or she didn't call him, or who knows? It could be a million answers. All I'm saying is in that comment, come on, we own a dog together. It's kind of like I know you're upset about this, but kind of like the linchpin that no matter what, through thick and thin, we always have this, hoping he would come around, okay? Now, what I believe gives that perspective sound stability is that after the 6th attempt to call Jack and didn't answer, Kaylee then thought the outcome might be different. Alleged, I guess, and attempted to call him from Maddie's phone one time. If it was simply that she was trying to get a hold of him authentically, he wasn't upset, she didn't believe he was upset, why would she not just try to call him 6, 10 times? The fact that it was 6 phone calls from hers and then 1 from Maddie says that she may have felt that he may be not answering my 6 phone calls, but maybe he'll pick up if he sees Maddie on the caller ID. Now, what does that mean? Coupled with my comment on the, come on, we own a dog together, I believe, shines some light that she felt or believed that he may be agitated or upset, or it might explain why he's not answering. So she's coming forward and saying that to try to provoke him to answer. Furthermore, she goes one step further and tries to call from a roommate's phone, thinking that, oh, maybe, he'll see the different name and answer. Either way, those two things coupled together, I believe, reveals that Kaylee, in whatever extent it may be, felt or believed for some reason that Jack had expressed, shown, or exhibited some type of behavior to where he was upset with her, or she had done something, or he had heard something that would give him the reason to be upset with her. Now, am I trying to sell that as the truth? No, I'm saying just to think about it from Kaylee's perspective. On its face, she calls him 6 times. Come on, we own a dog together. Then she attempts to call him from Maddie's phone. I believe those two things together show that she understood that there is a reason why he might not be answering. And in so much as she tried to pitch the come on, we own a dog together, maybe trying to get him to re-engage with the bond they'd have always had. And then further, trying to see if he would answer then. I believe that if she didn't think he was upset, why try to attempt to call him from Maddie's phone? Okay. As we all know, his alibi is that he was sleeping. Very well could have been. But in the context of the case, we know that he is to rent a property not far from there. And as I understand it, with a roommate, Adam. In recent days, we have seen there's been footage released where you can hear Kaylee say, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And then Maddie says, I told him everything. Something along those lines. Now, once I heard that, thinking what I've already thought about the phone calls, and I believe Kaylee revealing to us that she believes there's a reason he may be upset with her, seeing this footage taking place between the corner club and the grub truck, that means that conversation would have taken place in, I don't know, let's say roughly an hour before she attempted to call him. Was Jack upset? Or was Kaylee given the impression that Jack would be upset by what Maddie told Adam? Knowing that Adam being a roommate coming back from the bar, obviously Jack would know. I'm not going to get into speculation as to what that could be. I'm sure you can use your own mind and come up with that yourself. But interesting to me. So that's the first aspect I wanted to hit on. And then also, Murphy the dog, I seen that there was something mentioned where he always slept with one of the girls in their beds, which, being a dog owner, I understand that. But just by default, dog always sleeps in the bed. However, as law enforcement has said, Murphy was nowhere near the crime scenes. Now, I don't want him to get into specifics of he was in this room, he was in that room. Either he was in Kaylee's room, which was empty at the time, on the same floor, or he was in the vacant bedroom, which could either be the first floor or the second floor. We don't know. There's been reports that Dylan, was on the first floor. Maybe she moved up the second floor, whatever may have you. Was Maddie and Kaylee ones that always had the dog sleep in the bed? From my perspective on the TikToks, it appears so. With that being said, if that was true, the dog would have been moved. Okay. The fact that there's no alarm of the dog barking is very interesting. I don't think we can go much further than that. I think you can tell what I'm letting on to there. All in all, I think the main thing that the YouTube videos and some of us fall victim to is we get into the hype of the YouTube, the thumbnails and the narratives and the themes, and we just go down rabbit holes. The theory that I have, the variables that are changed here, let's say it was a stranger, just on the loose, peeping Tom, what have you. There were variables that were different this night. Kaylee was no longer living there. However, she used to live there. She stayed at the house where she would used to. However, she was not in her bedroom because that was now empty. Okay, she was sleeping with Maddie. Okay, that's a variable. That's a twist. She has a new car that she's there to show Maddie. Kind of projecting her new life, her turning the page, her going down to Dallas. Was Dylan on the first floor, the second floor? Who knows? There's been speculation, the doorknobs got changed. Was she sleeping here or there? Those are variables we don't know. So, if it's a stranger, they're going to be going in there to, a house of 6 people, and I hope things work out. From my perspective, I believe that if it was a stranger and they knew that there was 5 or 6 people there, I think the agenda would have been to clear the house, so to say. The fact that 4 were killed and there was 2 survivors left, to me tells me that something didn't go as planned, or that was never the motive to take out all 6. Now, with that said, I believe what took place, and this is just my theory, I believe that this is a case of, if I can't have you, nobody can. You think Brian Laundrie, you think the numerous plethora of cases that have that same vendetta. And again, I'm not pointing fingers at a specific person, although my words say otherwise. What I'm saying is to look at the context of the case, understand the emotions at play here, and the phases of life each of these individuals were in. Okay? You have Kaylee here, who's a very beautiful girl, appears to be setting herself up for successful life going forward, career-wise. And it seems like she has everything she could ever ask for. Coming back to visit. If she was the target, like I believe she was, the perpetrator knew that time was closing out. This was potentially the last night she would be available or on stage for the final act. I don't know if she was going to stay another night, but from my understanding, she was there for the weekend, show Maddie her car, visit, and then she was off to go backpacking after the holidays. So we know for a fact that it was one of Kaylee's last nights staying in that house for the foreseeable future because of what was upcoming. She was no longer a tenant of the house, was a past tenant, however, going to spend time with her old roommates. So this is one of the last nights she would be present. Is that a factor? I believe so. I believe that has a lot to do with it. With that said, the perpetrator would have known that she likely would not be alone, nor could he take her out alone. Why? Her room's not there. She'd probably be staying with Maddie, her roommate upstairs. Lifelong sister, right? And then people say, well, then he wouldn't have done it. Well, why not? Why just take out Kaylee? Then it's clear as day that it was somebody who wanted her, and the fingers point to one person only. You take 2 people out, it kind of muddies those waters. And why take the other one out if your vengeance was against them? Who knows? That's the pathology of a psychopath. In the Delphi case, we had what we believe is collateral damage. One may have been the target, and the other one was just happened to be there, wrong place, wrong time. Or was best that she went too because she knew too much. She did tell Adam everything. So I believe those were the first 2 targets on the top floor. As the perp was ascending down from the 3rd to the 2nd, they were met by Ethan, which I believe the perpetrator would have had a heightened advantage coming down the stairs and probably would have, pardon my words, done their best to quiet him and handle him as soon as possible. Okay, I believe this part was unplanned. This point in understanding, I believe, is where I believe the thought of the perpetrator took. Um, Whoever it was may or may not have known Ethan was there. We know Maddie and Kaylee got back after them, and I believe whoever was the perp had tabs on these two girls, but maybe not necessarily everyone else. I don't know if Ethan slept over every night, but I don't think that would be a variable that you would 100%, yeah, for sure he's there. More of a, I'm aware that he may stay, but I hope not tonight. Okay, but again, this is Kaylee's last night staying there. You couldn't play Russian roulette and call it off if he was. I believe he interacted and engaged with the perp on his way down the stairs, and at that point, whoever the individual was knew that he had a choice to make, and that was to leave right at that point and get out while he could. But then that would leave Zaina in the bedroom. Was she still sleeping? Of course she would get up soon to go check and see if, where was Ethan? You know, the door's open, spot next to her in bed's free. She's going to go check it out. The perpetrator knows at that point that if he leaves, he's giving himself max, let's say, be generous, half hour. By the time she wakes up, calls 911, and there's cops on the scene. That doesn't give him much time wherever he's going. But if he goes, he takes Zaina out too, hoping that he doesn't disrupt the others, he's buying himself even more time. So we know that the other roommates called police due to an unconscious friend at noon. So let's just say hypothetically 11 o'clock is when they became aware. And let's say the killer left by 4 a.m. That's 7 hours. After he took out Ethan, if you leave Zaina there, you're giving yourself half an hour before she wakes up, freaks out, calls the cops. Why? Because she's going to go look to see where Ethan's at. If you take her out too, you get hours. And in this case, he would have had 7 before the other 2 were aware. 7. A criminal can go a long ways and clean up a lot of things in 7 hours. Now, with that said, a couple last things I was going to say, and I know this is all over the place. Forgive me, it's my first time. But the Chef Dizzy character, the neighbor who was recorded in the interview, rather odd. He did say the word like an absorbent amount of times. But the one thing that caught my attention, I saw in Crime Circus's video, that at the same night, not Chef Dizzy, the same night there was apparently 2 to 3 pictures geolocated, uploaded to Snapchat showing a masked man. And I couldn't help but notice the ceiling, the wooded tile ceiling, is exactly the same from the masked man Snapchats, as is the ceiling in Chef Dizzy's video. Identical. Now, I know he comments that he lives there because it's an extra high ceiling due to juggling. I'm not saying that the masked man in the Snapchat videos is him, but I'm curious. All other residents living on that top floor where he resides would be intriguing to me, because whoever posted those Snapchat videos had to have come from that floor of the same complex, which we know is a neighbor. Is it connected? I don't know. I know the food truck guy was alleged to have possibly lived there too, so who knows? And the last note that I'll mention here is the Gonsalves family. Dad, Steve, he was getting a lot of hate for things he said and how much he talked, details he's letting out, getting an attorney, all those things, which I'm the first person to stand behind. Everybody grieves differently. And respecting that. But to be honest with you, I think it's because he believes deep down he knows who did it. I believe the behavior that you're seeing come from him, the mom and the sister, them talking to each other on the hot mic to remain calm and hold together. I believe they know who did it. And I believe they think they know who did it. And it's just a matter of time. When Steve says, "Don't make me do it, don't make me do it." Make you do what? He knows who did it. He's anxious. He's impatient. Because the cops still got to do the groundwork to put the pieces together in order to guarantee a successful prosecution and optimal resolution to the case. I could be wrong. I believe that when the mom comes out and says, "It's not Jack," Kaylee planned on getting back together with him. She was just having a moment. They were probably going to get married someday. Or when the sister comes out and she says, "Oh, it's 100% not Jack. We know it's not him. He's 100% innocent." Or the glare that you see Steve give Jack on stage at the vigil. Sure, maybe they do believe it's not him. Maybe it's not. Maybe he is the best. Maybe him and Kaylee were going to get back together. But to me, they weren't together. She's moving. New car, new job, new life. For it to just be, everyone knew they were getting back together. It was just a moment. I think from the male perpetrator's perspective is that was his hope. And he never considered life beyond him and her. And with that said, didn't want to. If I can't have her, nobody can. Once she goes down there and starts this new life and gets all this attention, I'm old news. I'm old news. I believe that the narrative of this case and the headlines of this case, 4 slain, 4 brutally stabbed, may have you, makes the reality and the truth of how this was taken out grandiose. It makes it seem like a movie. It makes it seem like an absolute horror. Who is this monster? He has to look this way, talk this way. Hypes up the narrative so much that people lose focus on the actual context, really considering the basics of it. If you take the video of those 3 walking, Maddie and Kaylee's exchange of, "What did you tell Adam? I told him everything." Understanding relationships. Kaylee calling him 6 times and saying, "Come on, we have a dog together." She's trying to elicit him to answer. "I know you're mad at me, but we have a dog together." Why does she believe this? Was it because Maddie told her that she told Adam everything, which is his roommate? What was it? Could she have interest somewhere else? Who knows what it may be? But could it be that Kaylee felt that Jack learned of something that he may be upset about, and her bond in respect towards him felt that pull to at least reach out 2 in the morning, say goodnight, hi, just to touch base and make sure everything was okay. But he didn't answer. She even tried for Maddie's phone. He didn't answer. It's her last night in town for the foreseeable future. Jack's roommate Adam is getting home from the bar between 2 and 3 because he's a bartender, right? Kaylee's last night in town. She lives 2 houses away. Brand new car. He's sleeping. He's sleeping. 2:26, doesn't answer the phone call. Bars don't close till 2. Hell, Adam couldn't have gotten home till 2:33, 3:30. Jack just called it an early night. Kaylee's last night there. Early night. He was sleeping. Didn't hear it. Roommate didn't hear him come downstairs. Huh. Now what would drive him to do this? This crime to me, the brutal stabbing, intention for one, I believe, and that's Kaylee. Maddie was collateral, either because she was there or because she would have known too much too. The other two, I believe, were just buying time. I believe Ethan confronted him at the bottom of the stairs. He had to get rid of him due to potential identifier, and he had to get rid of Zana to buy more time. So on its face, we have 4 brutally slain. Dylan, won't even know what bedroom she's in. Is she downstairs, 2nd floor? The perp didn't know and didn't care. There was 1 bedroom with 2 girls in it upstairs. The perp knew where that was. Did he move the dog before he committed these acts? If so, was the dog familiar with that person? When you come down those stairs and you get Ethan, if you're not familiar with that house, how do you know to wrap in around the kitchen to go back in that back bedroom? Why not try the door directly to your right? Is that where Dylan was staying? Did he know that? Why did he not check that room? Why did he not care about that room? If he cleared the whole 3rd floor and the 2nd floor, there's still a bedroom shut. How does he not know somebody's in there? If it was a stranger, these are too many variables of risk that it would have been hitting the Powerball for everything to fall into place the way it did. Whoever did this was emotionally tied and in love and projected a future with this person they targeted and did not want to look at life beyond that not being possible. It was her last night in town. He knew that. Her best friend that would be able to fill in all the missing pieces of her life was in the same bed next to her. He hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Ethan was unprovoked. Zana, collateral. Zana bought him time. 6-7 hours, in fact. He didn't care about Dylan. If it was just about blood, why were the other ones not engaged? If I can't have you, nobody can. Maddie went down with her. Ethan was unplanned, and Zana was to buy time. From his perspective, he had everything. She was everything. They were going to get married. She's beautiful. She's attractive. I'm sure she gets a lot of attention. She's now about to graduate. She's got a brand new car. She's got a big girl job in a completely different part of the States. Are you really going to rest on the fact of it'll work out? She'll come back around. As the mom said, it's inevitable they were getting back together. If that's what moms believe, then God bless her. But I think it's clear that Steve doesn't agree. The writing's on the wall. She moved on. She's going for bigger and better. He knew she would get that. Why wouldn't she? But he didn't want to face the feelings of what it would be like when she did. So he stopped her from obtaining and capturing that. I think the thing that's being overlooked here is the context of the 2 clues. Come on, we share a dog together, and attempting to call from Maddie's phone, to me, are 2 things that Kaylee is revealing, she believed that for some reason Jack had a reason to be upset with her, was upset with her, or had a reason to be ignoring her. And she pressed on that, even trying to call from Maddie's phone to try to get him to alleviate off that. I believe at that point he wasn't answering because was he already in the house and his phone was on silent? Or he knew he couldn't because he was already dead set on what he was about to do. Alright, I hope that made sense. I wish you all the best. Take care. This may be my only video. Who knows? We'll see. I just pray for resolution to all this for the entire family. Alright, have a great night and take care, y'all. Merry Christmas.